Tonight on Wide Angle, morning, somewhere in Laos, defectors from North Korea on a dangerous journey to freedom. Afternoon, somewhere in China, another defector says goodbye, possibly forever.
Mommy loves Bosong more than anything in the whole wide world.
Nighttime at the North Korean border, journalists risk their lives to tell of those who escape or die trying, crossing heaven's border. Next on Wide Angle.
I'm Aaron Brown. Join us.
Major funding for Wide Angle has been provided by Ford Foundation, the John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation, the William and Flora Hewlett Foundation, making grants to promote international understanding and address the root causes of global poverty, Mutual of America, designing customized individual and group retirement products. That's why we're your retirement company.com. The Miriam and Ira D. Wallach Foundation, Judy and Josh Weston, the estates of Helen and Sam Roseman, Bernard and Irene Schwartz, the Shelley and Donald Rubin Foundation, the Dr. Robert C. and Tina Sohn Foundation, and contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Aaron Brown. Welcome to a new season of Wide Angle. We begin this summer with North Korea, surely one of the most isolated and poorest places on the planet. It's not an easy place to make sense of because its leadership often makes no sense at all. This week, for example, the United States says North Korea is pointing a long-range missile toward Hawaii, and North Korea says if provoked, it will wipe the U.S. off the map. And while that sort of talk is just that, talk, the arrest and sentencing of 2 American journalists to 12 years of hard labor is more than just talk. But this isn't really a film about the regime. It is a story of those who quite literally risked their lives to escape the hellish existence of North Korea. China is most often their first stop, and as you'll see, not a welcoming one at that. Some stay there, but for others, it is just a stop on an informal underground railroad to freedom, 3,000 miles of pure risk, on foot, in vans and trains, on boats. At its core, the film is about courage and hope, the risks people are willing to take for something the rest of us take for granted, freedom. Later, we'll talk with human rights expert Deborah Liang Fenton.
The level of repression is so severe in North Korea that Cuba looks like a free country.
Stay with us.
On a cold winter day on the tense boundary between North Korea and China, North Korean soldiers keep a constant armed vigil. It's their job to stop fellow North Koreans who will risk their lives trying to escape their country by crossing the Tumen River. But come nightfall, they are not the only ones watching. Hiding in the darkness are 3 South Korean journalists, here to document the stories of the North Korean defectors. On this night, a smuggler escorts a defector into the icy river. It's a short but dangerous crossing. If they are caught by patrols on either side, they will be hauled back to North Korea. Captured defectors have been imprisoned, tortured, even executed. But for those who dare to cross, what they hope waits beyond the opposite shore makes it worth the risk. In 2007 and 8, 3 reporters for South Korea's largest newspaper, Chosun Ilbo, teamed up to work on a documentary project that would turn out to be the story of a lifetime.
이런 프로그램을 할 수 있겠냐라고 당신 이런 프로그램 할 수 있겠습니까라고
I don't think anyone would have agreed to work on this kind of project.
없었을 거예요.
There were warning signs everywhere near the river. If caught filming, you will be arrested.
어느 정도 위험은 하겠지라고 했는데
I assumed it'd be difficult,
지는 몰랐죠, 저도. 근데 다 해보니까
but had no idea it'd be as difficult as it was.
제가 떨어보니까
I had never been so afraid in my life.
Sneaking across borders, dodging authorities, posing as defectors themselves. Lee Hark-jun, the producer, Jung In-tak, the director, and Han Yong-ho, the cameraman, spent 10 months on a mission, documenting firsthand how their fellow Koreans escape from the north into China, how they live underground there, and how some of them undertake a perilous trek to freedom.
These are my people, and I have to see this with my own eyes. Up to now, I've never heard this story told by Koreans.
"19-year-old Lee Yang-hwa grew up in North Korea, dreaming of becoming a singer and an actress.
학교를 보내려고 대학교 보내려고 음악 예술 쪽으로 해서 보내려고 했는데 경제적으로 또 뭐 받침이 많이 돼야 되니까 저 정말 별난 거 다 해봤어요. 저 바닷가에 가서 고기잡이도 해봤고 해녀들처럼 바다에 가서 풀도 떠서 팔아도 봤고 땅에 들어가서 군도 해봤고 이삭지도 해봤고 저는요 솔직히 뭐 파는 것 말부터 안 되는 거 다 했어요. 빌라.
Her mother crossed the river first to support her children. But there weren't many ways for her to support a family in China. So she started doing web pornography. She made money by taking her clothes off in front of the computer in order to bring her daughter to China. The brother joined them later.
우리 딸이 윤호아들하고 좀 다른 아이예요. 내 딸이라기보다도 우리가 형편없이 청명하고요. 학교 쪽으로 머리 좋다고 일러주도 되고 그다음에 야 이거 음악적인 기량이 있어요.
Yang Hua hasn't given up on her ambition, but she can't pursue it in China, where North Korean defectors have to live in hiding, in fear of arrest and deportation. But she could pursue her dream if she could make it to freedom in South Korea. To try to do so, she turns to a Christian mission called Durihana. It operates an underground railroad out of China. Though Yang Hua's Chinese home is only 350 miles from the South Korean capital of Seoul, she can only get there by traveling over 3,000 miles. The mission secretly transports defectors down through China to Laos, then through Laos to Thailand, where the government will allow them to seek asylum. Once approved, they are free to fly to South Korea. The cost of Yang Hua's trip? $1,500. Nearly a year's worth of earnings for her mother.
그래야지 이거 딱 이 주머니가 빵빵해야지 뛸 때도 배낭 메고 뛰지. 너무 여기서 훌러글러서 안 하겠어. 막 배낭에 넣으면은 뛸 때도 부지런히 못 떼요.
왜 뛰어? 뛸 일 있어?
뛸 일 있을지도 않겠네. 나 잘 뛰는데 원래. 나 거꾸로 좀 뛰처럼.
Yang Hua's mom and brother hope to reunite with her in South Korea once they've saved up enough for their own escape.
길 갈 때 잘 간다는 소리 나는다 그랬지?
잘 가는 소리 안 돼. 조심해. 응?
고마워요. 항상 가슴 깊이 새기고 딸은 잘 다녀오겠습니다. 내가 인사 제대로 못했는데 많이 미안하고 엄마한테 그동안 잘못해서 미안해 엄마. 근데 내가 꼭 잘 될 수 있으리라고 보고 너무 걱정하지 말고 가짜 챙겨 먹고 엄마 내가 잘해낼 수 있을까?
Defectors started pouring out of North Korea in the mid-1990s, when its economy collapsed and its citizens endured a catastrophic food shortage known as the Great Famine. Up to 1 million North Koreans died. Hunger and poverty still drive some to defect. So too do the policies of North Korea's dictator, Kim Jong-il. The so-called Dear Leader rules with the aid and allegiance of an all-pervasive secret police force. Citizens are spied on. Those deemed not loyal enough are sent to live in prison camps. But the journalists would learn from North Korean defectors that they aren't just escaping from something, but also to something.
관에 있으면 굶어 죽으니까.
It's not just because of starvation or hatred toward Kim Jong-il. They escape for hope. There is no hope there. We called our story Crossing Heaven's Border. People ask if that means they're crossing out of heaven, because North Korean propaganda says North Korea is heaven on earth. But it's not that. By escaping, they think they are crossing into heaven. They are continuously reaching for their heaven. That's their hope.
That heaven, for most, is South Korea, where defectors hope to one day share in a Korean culture that includes more free expression and a first world standard of living. But for the estimated 100,000 North Koreans living underground in China, heaven is a long way off. Month after month, the three reporters conduct clandestine surveillance on the Chinese side of the China-North Korea border. They make every effort to avoid the authorities. They don't always succeed.
We got caught 3 times in total. Each time we did the same thing. We first threw the tape somewhere in the bushes, and we just keep repeating, "We are tourists, we are tourists." The most serious time, we were filming, and the soldiers came with rifles. We didn't think we could make it this time. The Chinese soldiers transported us at gunpoint. I realized then how dangerous it was. I thought I would rot in a Chinese prison for a long time. I wished I'd been nicer to my mother and family. Luckily, we were released.
The reporters prowl not only the border, but also the shadowy places where defectors spend their days. They make connections among them, gaining the trust of those who would otherwise keep their secrets to themselves. They learn that when North Korean women cross the border, they often end up being sold in China as brides or prostitutes.
마치 정육점에 왔다는 느낌.
It felt like a meat market.
20살 이하가 제일 싸.
Women under 20 were cheap.
20살까지가 좀 더 싸고.
Between 20 and 25 were cheaper.
30살이 넘어가.
Over 30 were the cheapest.
속값이 아니라
Cheaper than a cow or even a dog.
But in the border city of Dandong, they meet a North Korean defector who appears more fortunate than most. She confides in them that she has purchased a fake Chinese identity card, which has allowed her to get a well-paying job as a tour guide. Her name is Lee Gum-hee.
그래서 저희가 점심을 먹는 자리에
We met her for lunch and talked until dinner.
저녁까지 같이 노래방을 갔어요.
We went to a karaoke bar. She was a really good singer.
Gum-hee was born just on the other side of the Tumen River.
저기 우리 할머니 집이 있어. 우리 할머니가 그 집에다가 청진에서 가시다 오징어랑 그런 걸 마른 오징어로 넘겼거든.
She can see the sign on the North Korean side that reads, "Long live the son of the 21st century, General Kim Jong-il."
나 어떡하면 좋아. 그럼 이거는 뭐예요?
Gum-hee has a 6-year-old son named Bo-song. He has no identity card. Because of that, he can't attend school.
맞았어요. 빙고. 엄마 빙고 왔어. 빙고.
탈북자가 중국에서 낳은 아이는
A child born to a North Korean defector in China is a ghost.
그 사람에 대한
They have no record of existence in the world.
Bo-song suffers from cerebral palsy. Without an official identity, he can't get proper medical care.
해봐. 100% 파이팅! 응! 아싸! 오예! 이야, 그렇게 들어가는 거였어? 어이구, 대단하네. 어이구, 들어갔네. 안 아파, 어깨? 괜찮아? 네! 서리옷, 충성! 그 다음 뭐라고 해야 해? 필승! 그 다음에 뽀빠이! 잘했어.
Bo-song has grown up hearing of the place he's been told is his true homeland.
어느 나라 찾아요?
한국, 우리나라.
보성이도 한국 가고 싶어요?
네.
남한과 북한이 분단된
When I was growing up, I learned about the divide between the South and the North. For my generation, the North means a scary place, an enemy. But we came to realize that they're not that different from us.
근데 북한 쪽의 그 교육 방식은
Nothing has changed, however, in North Korean education. It's brainwashing.
일종의 세뇌 교육.
They teach that the dear leader is the best and that North Korea is the strongest and most independent country in the world.
The journalists witness the power of North Korean nationalism firsthand. They meet a woman, Park Gum-suk, who escaped to South Korea 2 years ago and became a citizen. Now she has come to China to meet her sister, Park Un-suk, who has recently been smuggled out of the north. She hopes to convince her sister to try to escape from China to South Korea. But it's not an easy sell. Un-suk has a boyfriend in North Korea, and moreover, a belief in her dear leader.
안 나갔으면 싹 죽었겠대. 살아남은 데도 몇 명이나 죽은지 아마 300만 명 넘게 죽었대. 고난에.
굶어 죽었나?
굶어 죽었지. 거리에 니는 그때 뭐야? 그냥 울타리 안에서 그냥 니는 딱
조선은 비방조상. 우리는 살주 나라 아니기 이거 다 사람들은 살주 나라 아니고 우리 살주 나라이기 때문에 자본주의 나라에서 우리 살주 나라 비방조상 한단 말이야.
중국에서 중국 사람들은 왜 욕하냐?
중국 사람들은 누가 욕하냐?
중국 사람들 다 욕하지. 다 그래 김정일이 하지.
니네 혼자 무슨 장군님이었겠다고 나발 보면서.
수령인데 장군님 아니에요.
그 잘라자 그래 공개 죽인 장군님.
장군님께서 군기 죽인?
그랬지.
그 사람들이 껌치 날리기 싫었을까? 군기 죽인. 군거 죽었지.
진짜 그 백성들을 위하고 그랬다며요. 자기만 그렇게 잘 살고. 같이 굶는데 그렇게 뚱뚱하게 살았지.
먹어서 뭐 나는 것도 아니다. 뭐 잠못 자 이래도 배 나오고 인진다. 뭘. 나도 생각하다 생각하고 있는데 있었으면 좋겠는데 난 밤 저번에 그때 오는데 안 가갔다고 말하고 그날 저녁에 숙생 먹는 거야. 오 하늘이 막 물어지는 거 같아.
가서 그 나라 지키고 잘 살아라.
이런 대화를 계속.
It was an impossible situation.
언니가 붙들고 열흘 동안.
Kumsuk tried to persuade her sister for 10 days.
동생은 근데 넘어오질 않아.
But Unsuk refused to go.
Unsuk decides instead to risk returning to North Korea. Yang Hua, the aspiring singer and actress, is on her way to a rendezvous with a group of defectors who will attempt to escape China together. She knows the consequences of being caught and sent back to North Korea. Once, when she was living there, she was detained by the secret police, not for trying to escape, just for loitering near the border.
정말 정신이 이렇게 휙 떨 정도로 때린다고. 앉아서 그다음에 1시간은 앉아서 막 눈물 나게 너는 이렇게 불쌍하게 너는 살아오지 않았나 근데 너는 이렇게 국가 앞에 죄를 짓고 이렇게 하냐면서 막 이런 교양을 시키고 그다음에 말 안 하고 그다음에 뒤다 패고 그다음에 또 1시간은 그 상처 치료해주면서 또 막 이렇게 살아오니까 그러니까 막 이런 감정의 변화가 막 하면서 야 내가 이거 불지 않고는 막 못 살겠다는 이런 생각인데 그때 초심을 잃지 않고 입만 안 놀리면은 그러면은 깨끗해요. 그 이제 너 한국 가다 잡혔지 그래도 끝까지 아니라고 우기고 그래서.
Despite her experience, she is resolved to risk arrest again. She hopes her journey will transport her safely over 3,000 miles to freedom in South Korea. The group she's joining is hiding out in a Jurihana mission safe house in Shenyang, China. Jurihana has hired a chain of smugglers that will take 8 defectors on the trip, 7 adults and 1 child.
가장 어린 아이가
The youngest one was Min Chul.
아버지는 조선족인데
His father was a Korean Chinese gangster, and he told me that his mom was a North Korean defector.
본인은 스스로 자기가 10살이라고.
He kept insisting that he was 10 years old,
주위에 있는 모든 사람들이
but everyone else said he was 7.
Min Chol's mother, a defector now in South Korea, has paid his way. At the safe house, a missionary gives advice for the trip, knowing that doing so could get her arrested in China.
여러분들이 만약에 가다가 내가 잘못됐다 그럴 수 있잖아요. 그랬을 때 상대방을 얘기하면 안 된다. 대부분이 나 혼자 오다 이렇게 잘못된 거야.
또 말하면 다 잡혀가잖아요.
The Chosun Ilbo journalists plan to accompany and film the defectors on their journey. To do so, they'll have to hide their cameras and pose as defectors themselves.
여기 밑에 보면 렌즈가 조그맣게 나올 수 있게 그래서 이런 식으로 해서 저희가 촬영했던 거.
The journey begins with a smuggler taking them on a 10-hour bus ride from Shenyang to Beijing.
After we arrived in Beijing, on our way to the border, the defectors stopped eating. The look in their eyes changed.
이 사람들이 생각하는 자유의 갈망이
Their desire for freedom was so big. For them, freedom was a matter of life and death.
죽음과 삶이 왔다 갔다 하는 자유인 거예요.
They were risking everything they had to get to their destination.
힘들어하면서까지 얘들이 가야 되는 거.
At the Beijing train station, the defectors and journalists melt into the crowd, avoiding authorities, pretending not to know each other, nervously waiting to board the train. Once on board, the group must hide from Chinese officials.
The inspections from the Chinese police were endless. We were always the target. When it happened, we'd flee or pretend to be sleeping.
After 3 tense days, they finally arrive in Kunming, in southern China. From there, they face an 8-hour drive through the mountains toward the jungle border with Laos. Yang Hua claims to be confident that the trip will succeed.
뒤에서 기도해주는 사람이 많으니까 나는 잘 될 거라고.
But she reveals to the journalists that she is carrying a poison capsule with her, just in case.
난 잡히면 저리 안 먹고 죽을 거야. 많이 떨리지.
At a safe house near the border, the group is handed off to another smuggler. He is to guide them on a trek through the jungle and across the border into Laos. But the journalist's cover is blown when the smuggler observes them at just the wrong moment.
저희가 카메라 만지는 걸 봤어요.
He saw us handling the camera.
당연히 탈북자가 카메라 들고 다닐 리가 없어요.
Of course, a defector wouldn't be carrying around a camera.
이네 3명은 아웃.
The smuggler said, "You 3, out.
나머지도 여기서.
If you don't leave, the rest won't take even a single step."
또 이제 고민을 시작을 한 거죠.
So we were conflicted.
미리국을 하지 않으면 가치가 없는데.
There would be no purpose to our story if we didn't stay with the smuggler.
그렇다고 그냥 버티고 앉아 있자니.
But the others' lives were depending on this.
제가 밤에 그 가이드한테 찾아갔어요.
So I went to speak to the smuggler. I heard he was a former soldier.
저도 이제 군대도 갔다 왔고.
I had been in the army.
남자로서.
And so I said, "I apologize as a man.
대한민국 기자다.
In fact, I'm a Korean reporter."
한참 고민하다가.
He pondered for a while and then said, "Yeah, you're a man. But not all 3 can go. One of you has to leave."
그래서 저랑 카메라맨이 가고.
So the cameraman and I stayed.
At nightfall, the group sets out to cross the China-Laos border, on foot through the jungle.
We couldn't see anything. It was pitch black. But the smuggler told us to keep moving forward.
처음에 넘을 때 4시간이면 충분히 넘는다고.
He initially said that 4 hours would be more than enough to cross.
12시간 지났는데도 끝나질 않았어요.
But even after 12 hours, it wasn't over.
I asked the smuggler, "What are we still doing walking?" He said, "Just a little bit more. Just a little bit more."
그 가이드가 물도 안 챙겨왔지.
The smuggler didn't bring water.
그 메콩강 물.
We just drank the water from the river.
그랬던 기억이 나는데 먹을 것도 없었고요.
There was also nothing to eat.
보이는 건 나뭇잎이라고 뜯어먹어.
The only thing we saw were leaves, so we picked and ate them. The smuggler kept saying that eating that stuff may kill us.
강에 들어갔다 나오면
Every time we walked into the river and came out, leeches were all over our bodies.
After trekking for 12 hours, one member of the group could go no further. Lee Hark-jun was surprised at who it was.
근데 한 명이
One person was exhausted and passed out.
그게 저였어요.
That was me. I was supposed to be covering the story.
10살 넘은
A grandma over 60, a 7-year-old child, 19-year-old girls were energetic, but I passed out.
저 때문에
The whole group was held up because of me.
근데 참 감사한 게 그 할머니랑
Thankfully, the women and the child all took turns and helped me.
Hungry and worn out, the group finally reaches a meeting place in Laos. Here, yet another in the secret chain of smugglers will arrive to guide them on the next leg of their journey. Meanwhile, in Dandong, China, Gum Hee, the tour guide, is about to make a fateful decision. Her 6-year-old, Bo Song, has taken a turn for the worse. He's begun to experience seizures.
걔 빨리빨리 치료를 좀 해주고 싶어요. 엄마로서 내가 할 수 있는 방법으로 해서 그렇게 가서 우리 보송이가 치료만 된다 그러면요.
Now, she is willing to risk everything to get him to South Korea.
어떻게 다르지?
정말로 원하는 거는 가서 보송이가 정말 어떤 이유로 경기를 하는지 바람이 있다면은 빨리빨리 우리 보송이 조금 더 크기 전에 모두도 저 병원 빨리빨리 잡아야 된다 그러는데 한국에 있었으면은 뭐 의료보험 같은 게 돼서라도 보톡스라는 주사라도 맞아가지고 야 쪽발이라도 짚고 지팡이를 짚고 걸어다니게 하고 싶어. 가자.
Gum Hee hatches a brazen plan. She has saved up just enough money to afford what most defectors can't: a plane ticket and a black market passport. She'll try to fly to Bangkok, then on to Seoul, find a job there, and finally save enough to have Bo Song smuggled out once she's established a new life.
엄마 없이 살 수 있어?
살 수 있어.
그렇구나. 엄마 보고 싶어, 안 보고 싶어?
보고 싶대. 그래서 무슨 장군 되지. 또 놀지.
안 되면 끝나는 거 같은 생각이야. 그냥 만약에 목숨이 붙어있다 그러면요 벌벌 키워서라도 다시 와서 보송이 엄마 하고 싶어요. 근데 뭐 잡아 죽이게 하겠어요. 뭔가 여기서 막 꾹 맥혀있는데요 한숨을 안 쉬고는 숨이 안 뚫려요.
At the China-Laos border, the defector group has endured a tense 3-hour wait for their new smuggler to arrive. When he does, Yang Hua, Min Chul, and the others make a run for the van. They've made it over 2,500 miles, managing to avoid capture so far. But there's still 200 more miles to go through Laos, a country no more welcoming to North Korean defectors than China. The lack of sleep and bad food, the tension and the fear have all combined to wear down Min Chul. He has a fever, a sore throat, and motion sickness. The director, Jung In-taek, who had been forced to leave the group when the journalists were found out in China, rejoins them on the journey through Laos.
하는데 한 20시간을 운전하는데
It was a 20-hour drive, and the driver was dozing off on a mountain path. I would yell and wake him up and suggest that we take turns driving. I didn't sleep for 20 hours. He was driving like this. If we got into an accident, everyone would get arrested and be sent back to North Korea immediately.
As they continue through Laos, Min Chul becomes sicker and sicker.
얘가 가면서 계속 헛구역질하고.
He was throwing up a lot.
얘야말로 먹는.
He threw up everything he ate.
어린애도.
I think he knew the danger, even though he was so young.
이거 종이 어디 갔어?
The Mekong River. On the other side lies Thailand and the promise of safety. But the defectors must wait for the cover of darkness before boarding a rickety boat to try to cross. For the first time in 10 days, after nearly 3,000 miles of perilous travel, they're free to speak out loud and laugh. It's even safe to phone home.
다 엄마가 기도해준 덕분에 편안히 왔어.
At the South Korean embassy in Bangkok, Yang Hua, Min Chul, and the others can now request asylum. They have made it. But Gum Hee is still a plane ride from freedom. She knows she could be caught and may never see her son again.
언제 떠나요? 엄마?
엄마?
응.
내일 간대요.
내일?
응.
왜 보성아?
아이야, 나가성아.
아, 왜 그래, 보성이. 엄마 갔다 금방 와. 미치겠다, 진짜.
미라. 네. 하나 할게요.
엄마가 제일 사랑하는 사람이 보성이고, 알았지? 아프지 말고. 엄마하고 빨리 만나자. 알았지?
엄마하고 빨리 만나자.
엄마 사랑해.
At the airport, armed with her fake Chinese passport, Gum Hee will attempt to pass through immigration. Posing as a friend, one of the camera team follows her.
시간이 지나가면서 점점 더 대담해져.
Toward the end, we got bolder and bolder. We completely lost our perspective. If somebody had asked, "What if you got caught?" we would have answered, "So be it."
Then, in the blink of an eye, safety.
아니, 지금 기분 말로 어떻게 표현할 수가 없어요. 아까 긴장해서 혼났어요. 딱 가는데 있잖아요. 발음이 조금 딱딱하니까 날 보고 두 손족이냐 물어봐요. 그래서 내가 아니요, 나는 한쪽인데요. 그랬더니 부상을 꽝 찍어주면서 잘 가라 그러더라고요.
Near the end of their 10-month reporting mission, the Chosun Ilbo journalists thought they had seen it all. But on one last trip to the border, there is one last defector.
겨울이니까
It was winter.
시체가 얼어 있더라고요.
The corpse was frozen.
그 사람이 강 중앙에
She was frozen in the middle of the river.
머리 방향이
Her head was toward neither China nor North Korea.
머리 뒤통수로 이렇게 숨.
It was facing down.
갈 곳이 없는 사람이다.
She had no place to go and had nothing to wear on such a cold day. I thought that was symbolic of the North Korean defectors.
갈 곳 없는 사람.
They have nowhere to go.
아마 그 시체는
She's probably in the ocean now.
그렇게 위험한 일이 더 이상.
Honestly, I would have to think hard about doing another dangerous project like this.
다시 국경 넘고 이럴 일에.
I'd really have to think about a project that has to do with crossing borders again.
두 번 다시 가는 일을 진짜.
I wouldn't go back if it's just a report that nothing has changed and that terrible things are still happening on the border.
만약에 간다면은 진짜 이거를.
But I will go back if I can be a part of stopping human rights violations and putting an end to people buying and selling other people.
없어지게 하려고 했던 부분에 대한 저희.
또 국경을 넘어서 희망을 찾아서.
I got to see hundreds of people who were crossing borders searching for hope.
어느 순간 저 자신도 제 마음의 국경을 건너고 있는 것 같아요.
And I realized that I am also crossing the border inside of me. If I hadn't done this, I would have stayed as a common reporter and a mere salaryman. But now, I've started to think that maybe I can be more than a reporter and a salaryman. That I can help improve society. But I'm still crossing. I have no conclusion. I'm breaking my own boundaries little by little.
생각의 틀을 조금 깼어요.
The defectors the reporters followed are resettled in South Korea now. Min Chul is in the 2nd grade in the city of Daecheon.
지금 한국에 와서
He's in South Korea now and is no longer sick. He met up with his mother and is happy.
Young Hwa now lives in Seoul with her mom and brother. The Durihana mission helped them escape to South Korea soon after she did. She is pursuing her lifelong dream of becoming a musician and actress.
She was accepted to university. She's a theater and film major. Her dream is to go to Hollywood and play the role of a defector.
As for Gum Hee, who parlayed her fake Chinese identity into a passport to freedom, she also resettled in Seoul and found a job with a video game company. And finally, after 8 months, she was able to send for her son, Bo Song. It didn't take a hidden camera to capture their reunion.
You understand how powerful something like...
Wide Angle continues in New York City with Aaron Brown and his guest, human rights expert Deborah Liang Fenton.
As we sit here today, what's the biggest story in the world?
Michael Jackson died.
Michael Jackson died. It is probably the front page of virtually every newspaper in the world, on every website. People in North Korea know that Michael Jackson died.
I would venture to say no one in North Korea, well, very few people in North Korea even know who Michael Jackson is.
So they didn't even know he was alive?
No, and they certainly don't know that he died.
Do they know that there has been this turmoil in Iran for the last couple of weeks?
I would say no, absolutely not. That kind of activity is something that the North Korean regime is afraid of, and in an effort to not enable something like that to happen, in other words, not enable dissenting voices to take to the streets, they have complete control over information. There's one really interesting story of this North Korean musician. He was a concert pianist in Pyongyang, and he was of the elite class and was allowed to travel to Russia to study music. And he was walking by a cafe and he heard this strange music coming from the shop. He went in and he said, "What is that?" And the guy looked at him and said, "That's jazz. Jazz is outlawed in North Korea. It's too independent thinking." And so this young musician thought, how could this country that I have been loyal to and have loved lie to me about something like music? Okay, so he went back to North Korea and started doing a little improv on his piano as part of, the symphony orchestra, I guess. And he was reported, and he was told as punishment that he had to write a 10-page criticism of his actions, and that he would never do it again, and how bad it was. And that's when he decided that this wasn't the place for him, and so he defected.
The other day they said, we're going to wipe America off the face of the earth finally. Now, nobody in America believes that. Who are they saying that for? What is the point of that?
They're undergoing a leadership transition process right now. And it's very important for the regime to foment extreme nationalist ideology for their own people.
Consumption.
Yes, it's for their own people.
Do you think there are people walking around North Korea going, yeah, we're going to wipe the United States off the face of the earth, and actually buy into that?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. The level of indoctrination is so extreme. It's from birth that people are actually taught to hate the United States.
Well, I can understand that.
Galvanizes and unifies a country more than a common enemy.
Right. I agree with that. But Cubans are taught also to hate the United States from birth, but there's not a Cuban walking around Havana who thinks that Havana is going to wipe America off the face of the earth.
You can't compare Cuba with North Korea. Cuba has information. They get tourists. The level of repression is so severe in North Korea that Cuba looks like a free country.
As we sit here today, the North Koreans are holding two young American journalists. They have tried them, they've convicted them, they have sentenced them for the crime of coming into the country, pretty much. What's their game?
I think what they are going to be looking for are concessions on the security issue, the nuclear issue. They may ask for all sanctions to be removed that the UN has just imposed since the May 25th nuclear test. So they will probably try to use these journalists as leverage to exact some kind of concessions on the nuclear front.
If I'm one of those two journalists, that does not make me feel very good.
No, but I'm hopeful that the two journalists are being treated in a dignified and humane way. The chances of that are good simply because North Korea has historically wanted a high-level envoy to come to them to apologize and then ask for the release, and then the person gets released. And they don't want these two journalists to come back to America to say they were tortured and they weren't fed. When they come back, they will want them to say they were treated humanely.
But the point you're making is that there are things the North Koreans want. There are things they want from America, there are things they want from Europe, there are things they want from the Chinese.
Right. China definitely participates in this relationship.
On a number of levels, the Chinese could be more helpful than they are here. The defectors who make their way to China live in constant fear, as we've seen in the film. They have no real status. Why don't the Chinese step up?
They argue, somewhat legitimately, that they are afraid of a flow of North Korean refugees coming inside its borders. That will be incredibly destabilizing for them. Who is going to help them take care of this large population?
If I manage to get out of North Korea, and then I manage to survive this kind of harrowing existence in China, and then I manage to survive this complicated and often dangerous trek from China to South Korea. Have I landed in heaven?
Yes and no. I think mainly yes, because they have been wanting this for so long. This is their end goal, to land in South Korea safely and to be taken in by the South Korean government safely and to eventually have their families come into South Korea safely. On the other hand, life is different in South Korea than it was for them in North Korea, and it's like a foreign land. There is technology. There is 24 hours of electricity.
It is a foreign land.
Yeah.
Is there a ceiling on their mobility in South Korean life?
I think it really depends. South Koreans profess that the North Koreans are their brothers and sisters. But there's also a concern that with more and more North Koreans coming in, it could be potentially destabilizing for South Korea and their economy. Are these people going to be a drag on their economy? And some of them worry that it might be too much for them to absorb larger and larger numbers of North Koreans.
The film itself, the stories that the film tells, is a great testament, I think, to human hope. It's great to meet you. Thanks for joining us on Wide Angle.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next time on Wide Angle, when a Palestinian boy is killed in the West Bank, his agonized parents donate his organs. But in the war-torn Middle East, does it matter who saves your child?
It should be from a Jew, not an Arab.
Heart of Jenin.
I'm Aaron Brown. Join us for the next Wide Angle.
Visit Wide Angle online. Watch testimony about life in a North Korean prison. Hear refugee stories from around the world. And download our podcasts. It's all at pbs.org. Major funding for Wide Angle has been provided by Ford Foundation, the John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation, the William and Flora Hewlett Foundation, making grants to promote international understanding and address the root causes of global poverty, Mutual of America, designing customized individual and group retirement products. That's why we're your retirement company.com. The Miriam and Ira D. Wallach Foundation, Judy and Josh Weston, the estates of Helen and Sam Roseman, Bernard and Irene Schwartz, the Shelley and Donald Rubin Foundation, the Dr. Robert C. and Tina Sohn Foundation, and contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
We are PBS.